Hey there, amplifiers. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm giving a book review or doing some highlights for Mike Michalowicz's newest book, All In. And it's really to help business owners and leaders build unstoppable teams. In a time where people are quiet, quitting, and people know that they have a lot of different options, it's really important to develop the skills needed to develop a team that doesn't just check the boxes and do the bare minimum. They actually take ownership and help build the business. And what I really like about this book is number one, Mike Michalowicz is really a rock star professional when it comes to leadership himself. He's cultivated an amazing community. Had the opportunity to attend ProfitCon and see all the Profit First professionals. Because if you've heard of Mike Michalowicz, chances are you've heard of his best-selling book, Profit First. It's a framework for helping people and business owners improve their cash flow and profitability. And that's not the book we're talking about today. We're talking about All In. Now, business owners think a lot of times they're building a business, but in actuality, they need to build a team to build a business. And you're going to be as strong as your weakest link. And there's a few different things I'll share about this book that I think is really helpful. Number one, Mike has a great personality. He has a nice mix of doing edutainment. So he likes to entertain. He has some good humor and some good dad jokes in there. I know because I'm a dad and I also do dad jokes. And he gives great information, practical information that's actionable. I have some books on my bookshelf that I've read, and after reading a few pages, I'm like, whoa, okay, that was fun. What did I just read? Mike's books is like he's speaking directly to you. You can remember the key information. He gives you frameworks that you could apply and actually see benefits to having applied that information. One of the cool concepts that I love about this book is the FASO method. FASO rhymes with lasso, and it's FASO. And it really helps you put a framework, a tool that you could use when developing and building your team. A lot of times people think, oh, I need to hire someone because I'm busy. And so I'm going to maybe look at putting out a job posting and see who applies. And maybe I'll look at their skill sets and experience and I'll hire based on that. And maybe I'm going to try to find someone who could check all the boxes. Well, Mike's FASO model suggests that you should look at things a bit differently. Number one, you want to find someone who's a good fit with your culture, but they don't need to do everything. It'd be better to find the right people to do the right job than trying to find someone and shove them in all different opportunities. If you have someone who's trying to take on a role, even though they're good, if it's not their thing, then it can be like trying to force a square through a round hole. It may not work. So F in FASO is fit. Ability. Mike has a great suggestion here. It's not just looking at the experience and the skill set, because he believes you can build A players out of most people if you put them in the right roles and coach them and guide them to achieve their full potential. He's saying to look here at people who have the desire, the ambition, the experiential and potential to elevate and grow. And if we're just looking at the skill level and experience, we may miss that. So really looking sure, do they have the ability? Do they have that eye of the tiger? S in FASO stands for safety. So we're looking at the physical safety. It needs to be a safe place to work. Oh, there's my good thumb. Financial safety, they need to be assured that they're not going to run into financial challenges. So they want to be safe there. And then psychologically, they want to be safe to know that they can express themselves, they can share their viewpoints on things, that can contribute without, being critiqued or being thrown under the bus. All that stuff is really important. And so fit, ability, safety, and last but not least, the O in FASO is ownership. And really taking the time to foster psychological ownership of different aspects of the job. If people are showing up and you're telling them, do this, check that box, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do that. They're going to check the box. If they come up with an idea, hey, I've got an idea, and then you swat it down and say, that was a stupid idea. How many times are they going to come up with another idea? They're probably not very often. If they feel like they're being told to do things and they're not given some freedoms to take ownership, to be creative, then they may not bring that to the table. So fit, ability, safety, and ownership, FASO, great tool. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You really want to make sure that you're getting the book yourself and hearing it straight from the master on the mic. All in, go all in. And by the way, that's the general concept of this book, is if you go in all in with your team, they'll go all in for you. And a lot of times the leaders will think, oh, I want my team to do things. I want them to just want to take ownership of the business and lead. But then you're not necessarily giving all to them to be successful. So I found that very refreshing. Another thing, concept, highlight I took away from the book is leaders can elevate or diminish the people on their team. So you think about it from like a sports team, right? If you have great players, but you have a not so great coach, what tends to happen is you can take great players and they can stumble all over each other. If you don't have a good leader up top to lead the team, you can have some of the best players that are out there, but then the team stinks because they don't have the right leadership, getting everyone to come together and synergize. However, you can have maybe some C and B players. And if you have the right person to inspire them, to guide them, you can take them to victory, and you can take people that maybe don't have the natural skill sets and guide them and coach them and lead them to become A players. Now, Mike does point out in the book that sometimes you will train people and they may go on and continue their journey elsewhere. That's going to happen. But when you cultivate that culture and you're helping people get where they want to go, they're more likely to stick around. And at very least, they're likely to do a much better job than they would be if you were just having them check the box. If you were just having them be a cog in the wheel, they're going to show up and be a cog in the wheel. So that takes me to the last point I'll highlight for the moment, that you can have one high-level person outperform or perform as many as maybe 3 lower-tiered people. And you see that. Amplifiers, growth amplifiers, you get this. Amplifiers show up with the attitude, expertise, and drive to play all in, to go full out and give it their best. And you see the difference when someone's just showing up and just kind of like, meh, I'm going to do this. Meh, meh. I'll do it because you paid me to do it. Yeah, that's not cutting it. And he shares how he learned by talking to another leader from a conference, how some people can pay more to get the right people on staff and ultimately be paying less than what other people pay for multiple people to get the same amount or even less of the work done. So you can actually get the A team and be able to afford doing it because you have the A team, right? It'd be worth paying a little bit more to have the right talent who are out there being the amplifiers in the world. So overall, all in, go all in with your team, with your leadership. Be the best person that you can be. Develop your leadership skills, and then have the team that supports you. I'd say in my life lessons, I started off as the technician working for other people. I developed some different skills in management and then coaching, and then am continuing to develop my skills as a leader. And I've realized it's a discipline, it's a skill set that you've got to practice. You've got to learn to see what you have as your blind spots. You got to learn to see how you can challenge yourself to grow. It's not just enough to know the information, you've got to put it into action. And even if you know it and you're putting it into action, you can always improve. You can always amplify. So I highly recommend the book All In. I'm all in with it. And one of my clients, Cindy Thomason from Bookkeep, she's the author of Profit First for E-commerce sellers. She's going to be doing a workshop. I think it's actually tomorrow. So if you're seeing this in replay, it might already be done, but it's a great workshop with All In. And if you haven't checked out some of Mike's other books, this is Fix This Next. It really talks about the different stages of business and what you should focus on at each different stage. Highlights one of my other clients. It's really cool, and it's inspiring, some of the stories that are in here. Really, really impressive stuff. Casey Wright of Ninja Zone is featured in this book for really cultivating a great vision, taking in a vision of spreading ninja throughout the country. She has hundreds of these licensed partners now who are sharing the ninja exercise and sport with kids across the country, helping people develop their leadership skills and athletic skills. It's really awesome. And then Clockwork, if you haven't checked this out, it's really cool too. How to get your business running like clockwork. So those are some keys, highlights from the book All In. And question for you is, what leadership skills are you working on developing? What are things that are helping you improve those skills? I'd love to hear that. As you can see from my bookshelf, I'm a fan of books. I like listening to the audiobooks. I've got Libby, I've got Audible, and sometimes I'll get the physical book too. I like to highlight things and write notes and track putting it into action. So if you're an amplifier, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share a tip that you found helpful to develop leadership skills. Put it in the comments. Don't be a stranger. There, share your thought leadership as well. And if this has been helpful or you want to share this with others, please do. Being an amplifier means you amplify a message. You put it out there. You're making a positive difference in the world by sharing because you care. So thank you for being the amplifier and for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Until then, keep